Hello, everybody. My name is Serena Kainlake. I'm here with Xavier Antoviak. And we are here today to talk about becoming a core contributor, which I hope you all want to do or already are. Yeah, we're both going to switch talking.
All right. Hi. So I'm Xavier Antoviak, and I guess you can see the pasta is coming from there. So I'm a contributor to the Open edX platform for quite some time now. All the privilege of having the first merge pull request in edX platform by someone outside of edX. So it was in 2013. So yeah, that was cool. And then I went on to create OpenCraft, and like the rest of the team, we all work remotely. So I use that to travel a lot. I spend 1 to 3 months in a place, and that's where I learn how to do pasta. So yeah, that's it. It's great. It's in Italy, great pasta.
My name is Serena Kainlake. I have been with edX since 2012, and my first open source pull request for edX was number 235, although I made some on the private repo before that. I live in Boston, Massachusetts. I have 3 cats. At the top, Percy, middle, Rupert, bottom, little Simon, only 2 years old. I've been contributing to open source since 2010. This is my first open source contribution. It was a fix to the kernel dump loop utility in Linux. And I feel like I have a distinction of on the mailing list, I submitted the patch, and the first response was, "This looks good, I'm merging it." So.
All right, and as you've seen at the beginning, we'll be taking questions through Slido, so you can connect through that URL, entering that number, or through the QR code. So you can post questions there, but also vote for other people's questions, and we'll basically answer first the most voted one. So yeah, just go there, and I think that was caps lock and tab. Yeah, no.
Oh, to do the slides, do the arrow.
To switch the.
Oh, it's not. Oh.
Here we go. So yeah, apparently chicken wings are winning over pasta so far, but I guess we'll see that later.
Great questions, everybody.
All right. So what is the core contributor program? So to talk about that, maybe we'll start with a little bit of history. So in 2012, edX was created. At that time, the code was closed. Only edX.org was running it. So it was proprietary software. But then 2013, OpenEdX was released as open source. Then everyone gained access to the source code. Was able to run it, to modify it, but the part about modifying the upstream version, the official version of the project, was still something that was exclusively done by edX. So that was creating a number of problems, like the reviews were long to come, especially if the features were not really in the priorities of edX. So that was also pretty discouraging as contributors. So there was some attempts to remedy to that. A first one in 2015 with the introduction of external committers, so that there were 6 people to which were given the right to merge on any repository from edX, from the edX organization. So there was Peter Pinch and Carson Gee from MIT, Phil McGashey from Harvard, Bertrand Marron from UNSX, as well as Braden and me from OpenCraft. So that program had mixed results. Mainly because the rules for when we were allowed to merge things were not quite clear. So we were often very reluctant to actually click the button. So we ended up asking for permission to edX, can we click the button, which is the same as having edX clicking the button. So that problem was later addressed by the core contributor program, which we are going to discuss today. So the first core contributors, there were 9 of them. So some of them were from the external committers, so Peter from MIT and Braden from OpenCraft, but were also Added a few people who had been active in the community in the meantime. So Felipe from edX was here, Igor from Raccoon Gang, Regis from Tutor, Zia from Edley, Omar from Appsembler, as well as Usman and Jill from OpenCraft. So it was a small group at the beginning because getting those rights on edX platform in particular is or represent quite a large risk for edX in the sense that anything that's merged, whenever that button is clicked, that appears pretty quickly on edX.org afterwards. So it needed to be sure that it wouldn't break everything. But that went really well. The work that was done was great. Nothing burned, crashed, down in flame, and etc. So that was great. It was really a nice operation of mutual trust and demonstrating that this can work and get to good results. So then we went from the 9 core contributors in 2020 that I was mentioning, which were all developers, to 32 in 2021. And we introduced the first non-developer core contributors. So there were project manager, translators, moderators, UX, UI, QA. In the future, we hope to have a product manager also. So that also added that. And today, we got to 42 core contributor, which is a perfect number. So we can stop there, I think. So yeah, that's it for that first session. Let's see if we have new questions. No, still chicken wings. All right. Yeah, I like chicken wings too. Yeah, they are yummy. All right.
We'll just repeat it. Yeah.
That's a good question.
So the question from Gabriel was, what is a good number of core contributors for a project the size of Open edX, and at what rate are we looking to increase the number of core contributors?
Yeah, and honestly, I don't know because I don't think it's that much about the number of people, but that's about the total sum of work that is being done by everyone, the amount of collaboration. And I think there are still plenty of margin, especially given the amount of activity in the community, the number of people who are really skilled at that, the number of projects that happens. I think we can definitely do at least an order of magnitude more than what we are doing now.
Yeah, absolutely. Great. All right, so what do core contributors do? You might be wondering. So the core contributor program was created in part to allow the community members to be able to drive the direction of the Open edX project. This is a really great example. This is EduNext, who's right here. Did some work on the hooks extension framework, hooks and filters. If you missed Felipe's talk from yesterday, you should definitely watch it because it was great. But that project showed how a community member can take an idea and can say, okay, I want to run with this idea. You know, does the work of talking with the community, shaping the project, and finally in Nutmeg gets to deliver the new feature. And that's generally what we want the core contributor program to be, is a way for community members to really do the things that matter to them. And what the program does is provide along the way the tools, the access, the connections that you need to make this a reality. Core contributors also really help the future direction of the project. And, you know, the roadmap is a big part of this. And, you know, saying, hey, these are my ideas. Hey, I'm going to run with these ideas. You know, that really drives the future. But another way that core contributors drive the future is actually in the selection process of future core contributors. We're looking to core contributors to grow the next generation of great developers, great marketers, great translators, get them involved in the community, join this program, and grow our project. So core contributors get to do a lot, but in return, we have, ask you for some responsibilities. And chief amongst the responsibilities is maintenance. No matter what your role is, maintenance is a big, big part of your job. It's awesome and totally great to submit new features. But for software projects, we need to update dependencies. For marketing copy, we need to go look at old materials and make sure they're still relevant. For translators, not just translate the new things, but make sure old translations are consistent with the nomenclature we are using now. Time. Time is a really important commitment because we ask that core contributors contribute 20 hours a month of their time. Whoops. Give me it once. Wait. Oh, I see. Never mind. Core contributors lead by example. The people with core contributor status are central to our community, and other people in the community are going to look at them and say, hey, this is the core part of the community. What are they doing? I want to be like them. And so we want you to have a good example in that leading. Participate in the community. Our community is vast, it's growing, and we want to be working out in the open. We want everything to be transparent, and core contributors are a big part of that by making sure their work is not secretive and hidden, but is part of a community. High quality standards speaks for itself. I think the OpenEdX project is really great because every aspect that we do, every person in this room, what you guys contribute is of high quality. We want to make sure that core contributors make that high quality bar stay as high as it is or even raise it. We are a global community, and I think sometimes it's really tempting to just work within our team or work within a small group of people that you're working on a project with to get things done. But doing global communication, not just across the globe, but I mean like big form communication to the community throughout a project is really important. And finally is community. I think that we're a big, happy community. And in fact, if you don't know, I left edX in 2016 and I came back in 2020. The reason I came back is because Namisha had a job posting, and it was, you're going to be a software engineering manager for a community-facing team. And I could not wait to get back in the community. So core contributors really help maintain that sense of community, inclusiveness, friendliness, and everything that's great about this project. Also, being a core contributor is great because we're friends, and we like to talk to each other and support each other. And I think the best way we do that is every 2 weeks we do an asynchronous check-in. It's a great way to find out what are other core contributors working on. This is a great way to kind of brag about what you're doing. But I think most importantly, it's a great way to say, hey, I'm stuck. I need somebody with these skills to help review my pull request, review my OEP. I'm like, I can't move forward until I get this help. And it is a great, great, great place to get that help pretty fast. We talk to each other on discussion forums. So if you're not on the discussion forums, discuss.openedx.org is a great place to go to get in touch with core contributors, with other community members, to stay up to date with what's going on in the OpenEdX community. I really think it's a great place for long-form discussions and problems. Our other synchronous communication tool is Slack. I think this is a tool that's really best used for quick communications, needing quick help. Please review my pull request. The history is not kept on Slack. It's very important for everyone to know. History is kept on the forums. So if you ask a good question, having it be on the forums is really the best place for it to be so that other people can learn from it in the future. And with that, we'll see if there are any questions. The question, are there any 2U edX people attending this presentation? I don't think so. But I'll give them the video.
Well, they might be aware of
Yeah. Oh yeah, Regis asked, so wait, do we actually ask for 20 hours a month for core contributors? Didn't commit to that. Is that an issue? We just had a great birds of a feather about that. One of the things that came up is of the people who have signed the declaration of commitment to the core contributor project, which is we ask employers to sign the declaration of commitment to the core contributor project to say, hey, I plan to give my employees dedicated time to work on the OpenEdX project. It was maybe not, I think that when people signed that declaration, it was people signed with different things and with different understandings of even what the same things meant. So that is something I want to do in the coming weeks is set up a forum or a summit or something with everyone who signed and say, hey, let's all get on the same page.
Maybe we can have the conversation at the end because I see we
yeah,
should
the
have that
time.
conversation now.
Yeah, we should have that conversation. All right. Xavier.
All right. So reason for contributing to the project. So what's in it for you as an individual developer or contributor, and what's in it for an organization to commit time to spend on the project. So let's start with the individual aspect. So first, leveling up and improving skills, whether it's technical or any area that you're working on as a contributor. You're surrounded by very knowledgeable people. There is additional quality expectations that come with open source. So it's really a good way to push yourself to become better. Then, as Serena was mentioning before, there is definitely the aspect of the community in which we are. I mean, we see it every year at the conference or whenever there is a conference. It's really nice to be in that environment. And contributing is a way to extend that beyond just like the times where we see each other, but having regularly the contact with the rest of the community. Then there is improving skills on collaboration and leadership. Being an open source project, nobody can really tell anyone else what to do. We need to basically learn to work together, and leadership is through showing example and etc. So those are slightly different skills than what there can be in a corporation or even an organization. So that's something also that you'll carry with you, and that will make you more effective also in those contexts. Then mentorship and feedback, like there are lots of reviews. So again, it's a way to upskill, but also just to get advices in general and to give advice also, because as a contributor, you get to look at the work of others and have that role for them. Then there is that part which is maybe a bit more fuzzy, like feeling good about what we do compared to, I don't know, working just on project for myself or for an organization I work for. When our work on a daily basis contributes to the community as a whole, to all the learners will be using OpenEdX, just like feels a lot better. Then what's the advantage of becoming a core contributor rather than simply contributing? You get more access. The trust that the project give to you is just higher. You get permissions to merge things, to modify some areas that you would need to ask permission for normally. So you also get to get your work more quickly in the project. Dedicated time, so an interesting topic that we still need to discuss, and definitely it can take different form for different providers or even individuals. But what's committed in most of the case so far is a certain number of hours per month, around 20 hours, which it is meant to kind of protect some time that can be dedicated to contributing to the community, even if it's not directly one of the priorities of the employer or the organization we work for when we work for someone. So if you've been looking to contribute but just never have time, that might be a way to like solve that. Then you join the core team, which is like a more closely knit group of active contributors. We all know each other pretty well. Like Serena was saying, we do 2-week sprints where we update each other on what happened. When we get blocked, we get to ask it, to ask for help, to be unblocked. And it's just really nice also to connect regularly like that. And yeah, get help when we need it. You also get to expose your work a lot more because everyone sees what everyone else is doing. Then there is recognition and status. So it's with that superb T-shirt, right? And it's an official status given by the project. So it's like a way to be recognized as a core key member of OpenEdX. It's even something you can put in your resume afterwards. It's still a nice thing. Then why would bosses allow to spend time on this? After all, there are probably urgent things to take care of. One of them, and a big one actually, is the avoidance of duplicate work. Like when you become a core contributor, you will naturally become closer to the change that are happening on the community, on the master branch, or whichever area that you're contributing to. So it means that you'll know very early when some changes are coming that might impact your work in the future, or that might duplicate something that you're doing. This way it will save you some trouble. Also, it means you're learning before the next upgrade what will come up there. By merging things, it means also that during the next upgrade, you won't have to reconcile all of that. So you save, again, some work. And as a consequence of that, also, you escape the code drift trap, which a lot of organizations have paid dearly for making that mistake, where because they don't care about contributing the code at the beginning, or just don't realize it's important, we'll have some work every release to do to reconcile what happened. At the beginning, it's relatively low amount of work, so it looks like it's manageable, but it's an exponential. And as we have all learned to read exponential lately, apparently, then at some point it turns into something very sudden. And at that point, it's generally too late to really do something, or it's very costly. So having core contributors in the team is a way to have an insurance against that, basically. Then you also get contributions just by merging the code, having it in the official project. It's a form of advertisement for the work. It means other people will download it just with the next release, will use it. And with use, it means there will be new needs. So people might develop something else, might contribute it. And just by having done that, you kind of automatically get contributions through the visibility of the project itself. Then why core contributor in particular, rather than just contributors in general? First, there is a branding thing where you can definitely demonstrate to your clients that you have really skilled people in the team, because the criteria to become a core contributor are quite high. You need to show quality for that. So it demonstrates that you will be able to do it as well as like anyone who is on the core team. You also gain influence by like having core contributors. You show that to your clients that you can advocate for their perspective when there is a change that's coming in the platform, instead of saying, "Oh, damn it, edX changed everything. We can't do anything." No, here you can tell the client, "Okay, if it happens, we have core contributors. They will know in advance. We'll be able to discuss about that," and that can be really important for clients. And then finally, in terms of just competing to have more shares of a given market, by contributing to the core of the platform, by making the project more attractive, fulfilling more different use cases, that makes the project more attractive to users, grow the user base, and grow indirectly the demand for work. All right, I don't know.
Yeah, there's one question, which is the graphics are real pretty. Are they original content? The slide deck template is the base OpenEdX template that was designed by Stacy Messier at edX. I think all our content is our own.
Yeah, and there are links at the end. If there is one that you really like, you can go.
There are 4 pages of sources.
Yes, but not everything is really purely creative. All right, I think that's yours.
Yeah. All right, so Xavier's convinced you. Being core contributor is awesome. Letting your employees be a core contributor, totally awesome. So how do I sign up? Well, so you don't just sign up to be a core contributor. You earn the right to be a core contributor. And how do you earn this right? Well, it's through something we call the 3 C's: commitment, conduct, and caliber. So commitment means that you are around in the project. You are here to stay. You know, we know you. And that is done through repeated interactions with working groups, with pull requests, with all the work that you do whenever your role is. And, just by, showing up, constantly showing up. And I liken this to this guy who's dancing. One day, this guy decided he wanted to dance. Was he dancing like this the next day? No, he actually committed himself to a great deal of dance practice before becoming the dancing core contributor that he is today. The second C is conduct, and I think this is the most important C personally. Conduct means that as a part of our community, you are open, you are inclusive, you are friendly. When people talk to you, you listen. When you're present on a video meeting, you're not talking over people. When someone gives you some feedback, you take it well. You say, thank you. This is a learning opportunity. I shall improve. So displaying that high level of conduct and, of course, abiding by our code of conduct and even helping others abide by the code of conduct when they slip up is really good ways of showing your own personal conduct. And finally is caliber. Caliber is just to emphasize the point I made earlier, that high quality bar that we have that is our standard of work on the Open edX project. Your code is tested. Your marketing copy is super professional English. Your translations are perfect for your locale. Just high quality all around. So you may be thinking, that's a lot of C's. How might I go about demonstrating these 3 C's? Because I think I want to be a core contributor. There's a number of ways, and I'm going to suggest some ways that especially even someone new to the project can just jump on in. And the first is working groups. We have, I think right now, 6 or 7 working groups. As mentioned in the keynote this morning, there's some sessions on working groups tomorrow morning for the product, for the data, for build, test, release, and marketing and translations are all having some time tomorrow to get together and talk. And if you're not a part of a working group, you should actually join these sessions. If you're not here, if you're watching this later, you should go to a working group meeting. Go to openedx.org/working-groups. One thing everyone in this room has, everyone watching at home has, is skills. Everybody has skills. Whether, you don't have to be a core contributor to be good at something. And it's so great when somebody gives me some feedback on something, and it doesn't have to be another core contributor. I get feedback from people in the community. I've opened up pull requests. People comment. They're not core contributor on that repo. I put some stuff in the forums. I get some feedback. All of that is really helpful. Just like if anyone who has good conduct in this group, they're going to be willing to take that feedback, and actually giving quality feedback. Taking the time to give a critical eye to somebody's work is a great way to show the 3 C's. It's so great because you're committed. You're committed to giving this feedback, your feedback of high quality, and your conduct in providing that feedback, nicely and in a constructive manner. 3 C's right there. You can demonstrate them. The roadmap. So openedx.org/roadmap to see our roadmap. So Jenna gave a lightning talk on this just a little bit ago. And if you didn't see her lightning talk, please check out the recording. She talks a lot more in depth about what the roadmap is and how we're planning to use it. But in short, the roadmap is a great place to see stuff that's in progress and stuff that hasn't happened yet. And it's a great way for you and your organization to jump on into either helping an in-progress effort or maybe picking up an effort that hasn't started yet. And finally, for people who, this is more geared towards coding core contributors, openedx.org/contributing brings you to a page with a lot of resources to get up and running with Open edX as a coding platform. So definitely check that out. So on your journey to being a core contributor, please don't be a stranger. We actively want people in our community who are able to commit to the project, who have high quality work. We want you to become a core contributor. And you should talk to other core contributors along your journey and say, hey, I'm doing X, I'm doing Y. I want to be a core contributor. How can I get there? We're going to help you out. So discussion forum, discuss.openedx.org, or Slack, openedx.org/Slack. Reach out to core contributors and say, please help me on my journey. And we will. All right, so you've done all this stuff. You've been talking to some core contributors. They've been saying like, hey, yeah, do this little bit of work. It'll really show your 3Cs. And you're like, yeah, I totally did it. It's awesome. I'm ready to be a core contributor. What's next? What's next is a nomination process. And the nomination process to be a core contributor is pretty lightweight. So what happens is when you think you're ready, or when another core contributor thinks you're ready, the core contributor will nominate you for inclusion to the program. We do this on the discussion forums. It's open, it's transparent. The reason we do this is everybody in the community has a right to see who is a core contributor and be a part of that process of electing the people who are going to drive the project forward. So anybody listening is welcome to participate in those conversations. Core contributors are the one who ultimately vote on the nomination. And at the end of the about 2-week time period, all yes votes, you're a core contributor. But sometimes it happens. Somebody brings up a concern. Serena, your code is great. You never write tests. Don't think you should be a core contributor. That's not meeting the high quality standard. Then, Xavier, who nominated me, would come and talk to me at the end of the nomination period and be like, Serena, I'm sorry, you're not a core contributor yet. Let's work together to come up with the plan for how you will be a core contributor the next time I nominate you. So like I said, we're friendly, we're open, we're inclusive, and we want you to succeed. All right, so what's next? Talk to us. Like I said, there are a lot of core contributors. They didn't all make it on this slide, but a number of you in this room who I cornered and took a picture of you. This is why. So come at this conference, anyone who's wearing a core contributor t-shirt, come talk to you about the core contributor program. Find us in Slack at #core contributors. We have a category on the discussion forum, so please post in there. And then 2 kind of other things, if you have a concern about the core contributor program, maybe it's more private, you don't really want that to be out in the open, feel free to email ccprogramadmins@tcurl.org for a more private channel. And then last, Ed mentioned this in his keynote yesterday, but we wrote an OEP, an Open edX Enhancement Proposal, number 54, on the core contributor program. And that is a really great place to just see in words like what this program is, how you get nominated. In far more words than I was able to give in this presentation. So with that, thank you so much. We have about 5 minutes left, and we would love it if you ask us some questions, even if it's just about the slides.
There's one, I think.
Yeah. Okay. Did the dog survive? No, the cat was being friendly. The cat opened the door and the dog ran out. The question was, do I have cats?
Any other questions?
Any other questions? It doesn't have to be serious. I actually, Regis? Yeah. Yeah, it's a great question. So I'll repeat the question. It was, so we, on the wiki, you can go and you can see who is a core contributor, but you can't necessarily go see what they've done. And is there a way that we could better highlight the achievements of individuals and organizations within the core contributor program? Yeah. Or outside of the core contributor program as well. Yeah, that's a great question. You have any thoughts?
Well, I mean, that's definitely a topic on which we'll need to brainstorm more. There have been some discussions, for example, around the leaderboard. That's one way. There is the roadmap. That should probably be a good way to highlight contributions, because when people will participate to things, they will be seen there. We can probably do more than that, like maybe regularly highlight some of the contribution made by some people. I mean, do you have any specific idea?
Yeah. I think that I would say, yeah, nothing concrete at the moment, but like that's a great point, and I can, yeah. If Neil wants to say something.
What? Oh.
I think for doing something like that, all of these are possible, but also all of them are good. There's never going to be one good way. So I'm gonna pull back something from what Toby said earlier today, which is say and then do. I think more people could just start doing it and publicizing either the work that they're excited about, the work they liked, the work that they did themselves that they liked. If people want to post on the Open edX blog,
You interrupted me because that's exactly what I was gonna say. I have an into the blog in that I'm a WordPress admin. So if you have something you want to post on the blog, let me know.
So yeah, I think it's a great idea. I think anybody who is excited to do it and sort of say things, we are happy to facilitate.
Yeah, absolutely. Stefania.
Thank you. It could be also an idea in the working marketing group to highlight in a time slot exactly these contributors one after the other alphabetically, or using a leaderboard or something like this. So we can use the working group also to promote and to highlight the person behind the contributors program. So I will put this on the list on our next discussion in the marketing group.
Yeah, thanks, Stefania. And that's like a really great point about different groups of people in the community really being able to work together and highlight each other. So we are out of time. I'm going to say
there's
one more question. Well, I just wanted to say one thing, which is I wanted to highlight that Stefania was, I believe, our first or second non-technical core contributor. So yeah.
All right, maybe just quickly about that. We just had a discussion actually about core contributorship during Bird of a Feather, but I think there will probably be more discussions tomorrow. For example, probably the roundtable that Toby has been talking about in his talk might have something about core contributor. I mean, I'll bring that up.
He told me that's when we would talk about it. Yeah.
Yeah. And there is the forum. In terms of asynchronous, there is a category for that.
I think the forums would be the right place if you wanted to start a conversation about core contributorship and what it means, or whatever meta conversation you want to have. We have a category in the discussion forum. I think a synchronous meeting is hard. We have people all over the globe. And also synchronous demands in many ways more time than like something like a forum. And we're already kind of having some trouble with the core contributors, with syncing people up, getting the reports at the end of every sprint about how we're doing that. We really want to get that asynchronous work kind of down. I think trying to keep those types of discussion async is probably going to be more inclusive to the community.
That's true. And maybe one last place for the part that remains synchronous would be the contributor meetup that happens every 2 weeks. So there is a thread in the forum if you're interested in that. So you can, if you're not there at the time it happens, there is a recording and a recap. So that can also be.
And if you also can't make that meeting, but there's topics you'd be interested in seeing discussed, you can always reach out to me and I can bring those up.
Just a clarification. So the contributor meetup is not only for core contributors. I just wanted to mention.
True.
Yeah. But that also tends to be a little bit more of a practical meeting than I think this question is asking.
Sure.
Yeah. All right. We got to go. Thanks, everybody.